Squawk here with a Wi-Fi battle against my friend Harley. We've been battling for a while now and finally had a good battle that I could post up. He leads off with a pincer and expecting stealth rocks. I went for a taunt, but he goes into his Zatu, which has magic mirror, so I get taunted, which basically turns Terabyte into a piece of crap. So I switch out to Ziggy, and he switches out at the same turn, and he goes into his mittens. I switch out again, and I go to DiGiorno, expecting, like a seed flare or something. He goes for air slash and withdraws because DiGiorno is single resist that. And I trick as he switches, and luckily I get the trick onto his Mesopotamia, that Zatu. So knowing that most of these days are somewhat bulky and do a support role, that trick was a good thing. But he gets a psychic on me and it's a crit, so I'm like crap. But I get discharge and one hit KO this thing because DiGiorno's just a beast like that. And so now he goes back out to pincer, and I didn't expect him to go faster, but he does. And seeing that he has overconfidence, I have a feeling that he's not the typical lead scissor that I see with, stealth rocks and a focus sash. So I go out to Nidoking and counter, but he switches into that Shaman. So I switch into Mind Sweep, and he goes for Hidden Power. I'm like, oh crap. But it's Hidden Power Ice, so I'm safe there for a turn. And he withdraws Mittens again, and he goes out to his Zapdos as I go for a Volt Change, but it has Lightning Rod because Harley is a douche like that. So he gets a special attack boost, and I'm like, crap, what do I go to? So I switch out to Terabyte expecting a Heat Wave, and knowing that I'm sashed, I know I can survive something. And I force him out to switch, so luckily that boost is gone. And I go for the Stealth Rocks as he switches, so now I got Stealth Rocks up, and which means he can't as freely switch as much anymore. And I survive that Earth Power, but my Super Fang misses. So Nidoking goes, he faints, and so now I go into my cock, and I predicted a switch, and let's see, what the heck do? I go for Stone Edge. I thought he'd go into Zapdos, but he goes into Sharpedo, and I'm assuming that's a speed boost Sharpedo because that's what everyone does. So he goes back into Mittens, and I switch out and go to Mind Sweep, knowing that whatever he has I can resist, and he goes for Hidden Power Ice again. So I does nothing to me, essentially. I can just leftovers off that. So he switches back out into Zapdos, and I'm hoping I didn't go for the Volt Change. I went for the Toxic Spikes, which means setting up some entry hazards. And let's see what the heck I do this turn. I switch, and I go out to Ziggy because he's my special wall, my special tank, I should say. Actually, not a wall, because he doesn't have a reliable recovery move other than Drain Punch, but that's not that reliable. So I go for Payback, and I see that does nothing, which means that this Zapdos is defensive, and that's not good for Ziggy. And so he gets a crit, and I go for a Bulk Up just to get some more damage, but that crit's not gonna let me do as much damage as I could have. So goes for another Thunderbolt, and I go for a Payback, and let's see. That does, about a third of his health. Not half because he was already weakened, but, about a third. Which, if he hadn't gotten that crit, Ziggy might have been able to do something more. But Ziggy's gone, and I go back out to my cock because he's faster. And assuming, I predicted he would switch, but he didn't, so I went for a U-turn, but that does nothing to Zapdos. So I go out to Mind Sweep as he roosts. Oh my gosh. He gets some health back, and I just don't really like this Zapdos because he does a lot. I mean, Zapdos in general are just really bulky and annoying. So I go out to Airplanes, predicting the Heat Wave, and it missed. And I protect as he goes for a Thunderbolt. And he did a strange move. He went for Hidden Power because he told me he thought I would switch into something. Who knows? But I get a Wish, and he goes out to his Scizor as I go for a Boiling Water. And let's see. Oh, that does, enough. That's a 2-hit KO on it. So I go for another boiling water, and since Vaporeon's faster, I get the 2-hit KO, and I get all sorts of fun stuff. And he goes back out to Shaman, and now he's poisoned and whatnot. So I go for Protect, as he goes to see what he would do, because I'm assuming this thing is choice since he switches it a lot. And he goes for a Seed Flare, and I was hoping, this is a 2-hit KO, which it is. So I go for the Ice Beam and do a healthy chunk of damage to him. And I know that I can stall him this turn, and which I do. I protect him, and his Seed Flare misses because I'm protecting, and now Poison will take him out. So I'm in a pretty good situation right now. He goes back out to his Zapdos, and let's see. He goes for a Thunderbolt. Vaporeon is not much use for me anymore now that he's. I mean, I could wish, but it'd just be a stupid switch, so I just kept him in for fodder. And I go out to my cock and go for a Stone Edge, and I was praying it didn't miss, and it hit like I was hoping. And so that Zapdos is out of the way. And now he goes into Pinsir, and he told me it was Choice Scarf, so I don't know, I felt like being a dick to him this few turns just to, finish off really funny. And so I go out to Mind Sweep to take the close combat or whatever the hell he was going to do, knowing that he could survive it. And let's see, he goes for another close combat, and I Volt Change this turn, so I could go back out to my cock, so I could, I told him, don't run away from this battle even though you've lost. I just wanted to do something really funny at the end. And so I go back out to my cock, and he lives with just barely enough, and I go for a quick attack, and he started laughing. So yeah, good game.